welcome pottery people. Phil here. Good morning. Thanks for watching today. We're going to go through the basic steps of throwing a cylinder. So I'm going to talk about everything I would talk about as if you were a brand new potter. Okay. So I have my clay kneaded up. That's a different video. Check that out, wedging and kneading. I'm here on my lovely Shimpo Whisper wheel. Different parts of the wheel. We have the wheel head, we have the splash pan, we have the wheel deck. I have a speed pedal down here, and I have an on-off switch control panel. Some wheels will allow you to reverse the direction of the wheel. My wheel head was basically dry. If your wheel head's wet and you put clay on, it'll slide around, so you want it basically dry. Unless you're throwing on a wooden bat, then you have to moisten it a little bit. But the first step in throwing is centering. When I center, there's many different ways to center. There's many different ways to throw a pot. I'm going to show you my technique, which I learned from my teacher Don Hunt, who learned from Dean Schwartz at Luther College, and Dean learned from Marguerite Wildenhain, who was a Bauhaus potter in Germany. So I'm part of the Bauhaus lineage, German potters from the early part of the 20th century. So when I start throwing, I get my wheel going medium fast to center, and I take my foot off the pedal. I encourage beginning students to take their foot off the pedal. Don't touch the clay unless it's moving. Starting and stopping the wheel speed is one of the biggest detriments to a beginning potter. Just let it spin. I learned on a kick wheel with a 300-pound cement flywheel, and so the momentum, it was always spinning, and you would maybe speed it up and slow it down a little bit, but basically a kick wheel is like an electric wheel, and just take your foot off the pedal. So, centering. I center by cupping my right hand. First I got to get my clay wet. I'm going to cup my right hand. My fingertips are going to touch the wheel head. My elbows are resting on my thighs. My left hand reaches over the top, and I'm going to push down and pull back a little bit while I'm doing this. And it's a fair amount of pressure pulling back and pushing down until the clay stabilizes, and once it stabilizes I have to release gently. If I release abruptly, it can throw my clay off. Another way to center that I encourage people to try is using the heel of their left hand. If you lock your elbow into your rib cage and just lean into your clay and put some downward pressure, that's another way to do it. Some people will encourage you to do coning when you center. Coning is basically pushing the clay up into a cone by using the heels of your hands and then pushing it back down. Some people call it wheel wedging because it does kind of help align the particles and wake up your clay. So coning is not a bad thing also. Especially I cone if I'm throwing a larger piece of clay. But the key is the gradual release. Okay? I try to keep my wheel head pretty clean as I'm throwing. It saves on the cleanup later with my splash pan. Okay, so I just added some water, and now I'm going to create my well. I'm going to open the clay. The way I open, some people open with their thumb, some people open with their left hand or their right hand. I open with the middle finger of my left hand. So I take my right hand and I take my index finger, my middle finger, my thumb, and I put them together, and I draw a line right down the middle, and they're to the right of that line. These two fingers are kind of off to the side, out of the picture, unless I was working with a larger piece of clay. So this is in the right half. I'm going to take a peace sign in my left hand, and my index finger rests on the back of my right hand, and my middle finger finds the middle of my well. Now, just a comment about that. When I center, this part of my thumb rests right in the middle, so it sort of creates the beginnings of my well, a little divot to begin with. Okay, so now I'm back to opening. Some people talk about this as the cowboy riding the horse, okay? So as I drill in, my fingertip stays in the middle all the way down to, almost a 1/4 inch from the base. And how thick to make your base, that just comes with experience. And notice my finger was angled back the whole time. I didn't go straight down in like this. I created a well that was sort of an open bowl-shaped well. Adding a little water for lubrication here. Once I get it down to a 1/4 inch, I'm going to pull back. And notice as I'm pulling back, my index finger, my thumb's riding this donut, my index finger is creating containment, a little compression on that outside wall. Sometimes if you don't have that finger there and you only have pressure coming in from the inside, if your clay's not worked up very good, if it's not very plastic, this will crack or split open. So, I'm going to pull open to create a flat base. Then I'm going to take a wood rib that's got a flat bottom, and I'm going to hold it right here from the middle going out to the right. I'm going to angle it back, and I'm going to just compress my base. I'm always working the clay on the side that's moving away from me. Most of the action where I touch the clay is between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock in this little sweet spot, because the clay's pulling away from me. If I work on the side of the clay that's coming at me, my fingers can catch. I don't have as much control. So again, I'm going to try to keep my wheel head clean. I'm going to add a little lubrication, and now I'm going for my first pull. When I pull, I do it right about 4 o'clock. I start with my left hand, my middle finger. Some people use their index finger. I use my middle finger, and my thumb is down on the outside of the pot. Don't get caught with your thumb up like this, because if your thumb's down and then my right hand buddies up to that, I have a lot more control if my two hands are working as one claw. If my hands are separate, they're only connected at my torso, I don't have as much control. But if my hands are connected as one claw, I have a lot more control. Now, some people will throw with their knuckle. I can throw with my knuckle sometimes if I'm using a larger piece of clay. That can work really good. Some people throw using a sponge on the outside. I've gotten used to throwing with a sponge on the outside because it just maintains the lubrication. And it's a slightly larger point of pressure where I'm pushing, okay? Oftentimes I tell students their first pull, they want to get the clay going in sort of like a volcano, and so they want to use very little pressure from the inside hand. In fact, I can do my first pull with just my outside hand. That way I know that I'm in control of the centrifugal force. So I'm using my sponge on my outside hand. Again, my thumb's down on the outside, and my outside hand is exactly opposite my inside hand. So I'm creating 2 points of pressure to define the thickness of the wall. And so now I move those up together. I don't want to go up too fast. After I finish my pull, I compress my lip. Make sure I maintain a nice even lip. Now, I haven't touched my speed pedal since the beginning of this process. So at this point, I'm starting to pull walls up. I might want to slow my wheel down just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to add a little water to maintain my lubrication. And now I'm going to get a little more aggressive with my pull. I'm going to try to push in at the base, at the wheel head, try to get under some of this weight. And then I move my fingers up together. When I get to the top of the wall, I don't go past the height of the wall. I stop and let it go around a couple of revolutions and just hold it there. And then I can compress my lip. Now, as I'm pulling, the thickness of my wall is getting about where I want it in the top half. So I have a little extra thickness in the bottom. So as I'm pulling, I use more pressure in the bottom and I ease off on the pressure as I get to the top. I'm just sort of guiding the wall and making sure it's going in the shape and the direction I want. So I'm going to add a little extra water here. I'm going to do one more pull here. I'm going to get under this weight. And notice my thumb is still down there on the outside. The only time my thumb isn't connected, or almost back to back with my other thumb, is if my pot is so tall that my hand has to be in there separate. And then even in that case, as soon as I can reach and have my thumb touch my other hand so I can maintain a little extra control with my hands working together, I will do that. So now my wall is getting relatively thin at the bottom, and I had a little more pressure, and now I'm easing off on the pressure as I get to the top. And again, I let it travel around a couple times, and then I can compress my lip. I'm going to try one more pull to try to get a little more weight out of the bottom. And with this one, I'm going to just try to make sure, I get under that weight. And now look where my thumb is now. My thumb on my left hand is touching my thumb on my right hand. As soon as I get up high enough that I can switch to my proper pulling position, I will do that. Now I'm just easing off here, and then I will release gently. I can compress my lip. Okay, this is a nice cylinder. I'm going to tool the outside, but before I do that, I'm going to just make sure I don't leave any excess water on the inside of my pot. That will cause it potentially to crack. Okay, so now I'm just going to use my wood rib on the outside of my pot. Get rid of a little bit of that weight there. And I'm going to just hold my rib right here at about 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. And then I'm going to push from the inside out with my hand right where the rib is. And I'm going to just draw the clay out to meet the rib. So I'm going to be stiff with my rib. And then I'm just pushing the clay straight out to meet the rib. And then as I pull up, I'm going to just move my rib up as well. Often when I tool something like this, my rib isn't straight up and down, but it kind of angles a little bit, and it angles back so the clay slides through. This compresses the wall. And just smooths it out beautifully. So now I have a nice cylinder. I'm going to take my wood rib and I'm going to cut a little foot, a little undercut. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to stick the V-shape flat side down into the pot, but I'm going to angle it back towards me a little bit, and I'm going to tip it away towards 2 o'clock so that it steers the clay away from the pot. Otherwise, I end up with a big chunk of clay right on my foot. So that just steered that clay away from my pot. That's a nice big foot, which is going to serve a couple purposes. The foot will visually sort of elevate the pot and give it a little visual buoyancy, but it's also going to keep the glaze from dripping down onto the kiln shelf. I'm just going to soften that edge a little bit with my sponge. I can soften my edge up here with my sponge. And there I have a cylinder. That cylinder could be used for a variety of things, but it's a nice basic cylinder. And then when I take it off, I'm going to take my string tool. Sometimes I have to choke up a little bit, but I'm going to pull it taut, make sure my thumbs are pressing down on the wheel head, and I'm going to pull it through. Now, I always hang my string tool on the edge of my bucket. I always know where it is. Then I can just take this off the wheel head by drying my hands, and I can just tip it towards me and lift it up and put it on my wear board. Often when I'm making cylinders, I like to cut them in half to check my thickness. So I'm just going to take my string tool can check my wall thickness all the way down to the bottom. You can see I was relatively consistent all the way down to the bottom of my wall. That's what I'm going for. So, the basic cylinder. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe below. Come back, check out more tutorials at Clay Class on YouTube.